Hello and welcome to Exploring Gratitude.
I'm Pastor Courtney Schultz. This is Pastor Alex Williams, and we are from Grace Chapel, which is a campus of Grace Avenue United Methodist Church. And today we're going to be talking about how we are born to be generous.
Yeah, we're here in week 1, starting out from the beginning. We're made in the image of God, and God is generous, and so we're called to be generous too. And this week I've been thinking about, why is that true? Why would God create us to be generous? What is the purpose of that? And the more I've thought about it, I think it's because the more you invest in something, the more it means to you. When you've got some skin in the game, so to speak, you can get more out of it. You can feel that joy. It's just deeper. The meaning is so much deeper when you've invested in something. And there was some recent examples that happened. So a week ago, Texas sports had 2 huge victories. On Saturday night, the Astros beat the Yankees in Game 6 to go to the World Series. It was this incredible game. Walk-off home run in the bottom of the 9th.
I don't care about the Astros.
Oh, come on now. It was a huge game. It was a big deal, right? And so they made it the World Series. Big monster game. And then the next day, the Cowboys played the Eagles. I know you know about that one.
I care deeply about the Cowboys. That was actually my first ever NFL game, and it was amazing, and will go down in as one of the greatest nights of my life.
Yeah, that's a high bar to clear. First ever NFL game, Cowboys beating the Eagles. Man, that was crazy. So
Stomping
the Eagles. That's right. How about them Cowboys? So that means so much more, obviously, to both of us, because we're not Houstonians. The Astros, I mean, they're a Texas team. That's great, but that's not our team. Whereas the Cowboys, we're invested in the Cowboys. We've put time and energy and money. Those jerseys aren't free, right?
Tears.
And tears. Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. Every year we get our hopes up, but we've poured and invested in the Cowboys, and so that victory, though, empirically, intrinsically, the Astros game was a bigger deal. It sent them to the World Series. It was a walk-off home run. It was huge and incredible. The Cowboys game was just a regular season game. The stakes were so much lower. It wasn't even a close game, right? But it meant so much more to us because we've poured and invested into that team. And I think that's how it is with everything in our life. I think that's why God made us to be generous, is the more you invest in something, whether it's a sports team or your faith or your church, that means so much more because you've put something into it. You've got some skin in the game. You feel that gratitude and joy so much deeper. And I really think that's why we're made to be generous.
So then the question must be, if we're born to be generous, and we know that that generosity will elicit gratitude and joy, why are we often so bad at it?
Why are we bad at it?
I think it's really a matter of how we are viewing the world and our life, whether we are living with a mindset of scarcity or a mindset of abundance. So our God calls us to abundant life, offers us abundant life. And when we live with a lens that says, I have what I need in my relationship with God and in my church, and I trust that God is going to walk with me through anything that happens, then we're able to live more freely and to be more generous. But oftentimes we're just living from a mindset of scarcity. And it really seems like the more we have, the deeper the scarcity mindset can really get, and the further down that hole we can go. And we start trying to hang on to everything.
We don't lose anything.
Correct. And there's a fear that, and we just try to collect more. Because what if I run out? Or what if I don't have enough? What if something bad happens? How am I going to make it? And so we gather up everything. We start to hoard our time and our money and our energy. We may not have time for people and relationships because we're living from a mindset of scarcity. But if we can shift that and live with the abundant mindset, knowing and trusting that God will be with us in all things, then we can access that gratitude and joy that comes out of generosity. I know we're created to do this because I see this happen with little babies. When babies get around 12 to 18 months old, they really start interacting with the people around them, and they freely share.
Yeah.
They share everything.
Too much.
So many things. Here, I put this in my mouth. Don't you want to put it in yours? Yes. So they do that up until around age 2. And then they start to see themselves as individuals apart from other people, and they start to see things as mine.
Oh, tell me about it. So our oldest son is 2.5, and about a year ago, he learned the word mine, became his favorite word. And I watch him, now, if there's somebody over at the house, he doesn't want to share his toys. And so it's comical because he tries to gather everything he owns. And he tries to hold on to every single little toy, because I know he's so afraid. And so he's just filled with stress and anxiety and fear, and he just melts down and cries because he's so afraid of losing anything. And he's lost that joy. But when he shares and plays with his friends, there's so much joy, and he laughs and they run around, and it doesn't matter whose toy is whose, because they're just enjoying that and having fun. And I think we never grow out of that phase, you know? We always try to hold things. We try to put our arms around everything because we're so afraid to lose anything. We're so afraid to be unprepared, and we think that's going to make us happy, but it just makes us stressed out. And when we open our hands, when we share, when we're generous, we're living into the way God created us to be. And just like my little 2-year-old, it brings us joy. We can interact with others, and there's so much deep gratitude and fulfillment and joy that comes from being generous and sharing and living, because that's how God created us to be. And I think it's really something that I'm trying to focus on this week. Learn the lesson of the 2-year-old, right? Don't repeat the same mistakes, but try to figure out, where am I holding on to things too tight? Where am I living in that world of scarcity? And where can I be more generous like God created us to be? Yeah. Well, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.